you don't know you have termites until they come out and say hi.
You don't want to come out and say
Yeah. And this is South Florida, so they are around.
Welcome to Opportunity Knocks. I'm your host, Todd Patton, and today we have Dr. Bugs in the house.
How you doing, Todd?
How you doing, my man? Curfton, great to see you, man. Great to have you here. So you got to give me the backstory. First of all, your branding, your logo, everything's amazing, man. I love it. You pull up in Park and Golf, and it's like, man, this guy, everybody's, it's turning heads, man. People are looking at that car.
Thank you.
How'd you get started in this?
Well, I've actually been doing pest control since college. I studied entomology, so I'm an entomologist. Got bachelor's degree and master's in entomology. And in pest control wise, I actually met my mentor and my business partner while I was in school. So we have Dr. Bugs in Gainesville, as well as Dr. Bugs here.
Awesome.
So we both studied entomology. We're both entomologists.
That's awesome, man. And can I age you here and tell you what years were you back there? Was it in the early 2000s, maybe?
I got there in 98.
All right, that was close.
Yeah,
those were Tebow years, or
No, those were
Tebow was
Chris Leak. Actually, close to Tebow. So
those
were Jesse Palmer.
Okay.
And
Chris and Leak.
Yeah.
I forget, Ryan Leak? I forget.
No, Chris Leak.
Chris Leak.
Chris Leak was before Tebow.
Those were the good old days.
Those were the good old days.
I was at Tallahassee back then, so I remember. Those were fun days, man. That was a rival, too.
But see, I went to Tallahassee to get FAMU for my master's because they got a joint entomology program with UF.
Oh, so after UF, you went to Tallahassee and FAMU?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a fun town. Both two good towns.
Party towns.
Yeah, man.
Now they're a little too studious.
I lasted 2.5 years, and I was like, I got to get out.
Yeah, they're a little too studious right now. They're not. I don't think they're partying as much as we did.
Exactly. It's like Harvard now. Yeah. Back then, you just needed I think a 3.0 or something to get in. Now it's like they don't even look at you with that.
You need an 8.0 right now.
That's right. So you studied this. What's the term for it?
Entomology.
What is it?
Entomology.
Entomology?
Yeah, we studied insects.
Awesome. And then you get your master's, come down here and start your business. Now, did you start it in Gainesville too? Because I remember you mentioned that you had
Dr. Bugs originally started in Gainesville.
Okay.
So John Dukes, founder of Dr. Bugs in 85.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So when I was in school, I asked my advisor, I said, man, I'm studying this pest control. Entomology is one of the most important fields worldwide. You got your agriculture, medical, aquatic.
Sure.
The military, important for the military. But I knew I wanted to do structural, which is pest control, because I wanted to be a business owner. So
the other ones would be government working, and that
exactly.
You wanted to start your business.
And there's research.
Yeah, a lot of research. Yeah,
a lot of research.
You did enough of that in school, right?
Yeah, thesis and all that stuff.
So you were an entrepreneur right out of the gate.
Yeah, so I've always I had that entrepreneurial mentality. So I remember that I went to my advisor and said, is there any company in Gainesville you think have a fit to work under and learn this? And he introduced me to John Dukes.
And were they big then? Because they started in 85. So they were, 15 years or so?
Good.
Solid size business?
Solid size.
But just
very good reputation in Gainesville.
Uh-huh.
Everybody knows him. And my advisor introduced me to him. And from there, he took me under his wing.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Is he a graduate of UF?
He graduated. Well, unfortunately, he was in Tallahassee.
No way.
Yeah.
That's surprising. So, normally, he wouldn't show that much love to a FAMU.
But we both FAMU graduates
awesome.
as well.
Oh, that's great, man. And
so unfortunately, he's a Seminole.
Yeah. So, and that's amazing. So still to this day, that's been what? How many years? That's almost 20? 20 plus.
I've been
partnered.
Yeah. Because, let me see, started actually doing pest control in 2001, I believe, or 2. Yeah, I believe. Time goes by so fast.
20 years, over 20 years.
Time goes by fast.
I know it does, man. It's wild. And when you start thinking about COVID, that's when time goes by fast. Because it seems like it wasn't that long ago. Yeah, last year, it was a year, no, it was like 4.
COVID seems like yesterday.
Yeah.
Remember the world shut down.
Yep, exactly. So, first of all, thanks for being part of One Home. So, as you know, we're very selective with who we're putting there. We're looking at South Florida. We're starting in Broward, and South Florida's top 3 in each category. And we're so proud and honored to have Dr. Bugs as one of our 3 One Home certified vendors. And, you know, I always tell people I'm building this up. It's kind of you know, a boots on the ground type way I'm doing it, you know, which is I want to meet people, I want to talk to them. And you and I have got to know each other through 6 degrees and networking events, but I want good people, you know, I want good people that are part of this. And I know you are. And it's one thing, you know, when you get a referral in the home service space, it's nice to know this person's coming in my house, comes as a referral. And I know you've built your business on referrals, and you get a lot of referrals, and you're going to be getting more referrals now with One Home because, and that's part of why we're doing this, Kirk, just so you know, is that I want people to see you, you know, and see the brand. Yeah, Dr. Boggs, you might see but here's the man behind it.
We appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
And one thing I do appreciate that because, you know, especially pest control, you do have to have that company that you can trust or that individual you can trust, because we are in and out of your home, servicing your home and making sure that you're protected.
So it's the trust on that, and it's also knowing what you're doing,
Well,
which you clearly know, because a lot of people, I'm sure, are buying stuff that you don't even know what kind of a, you know, who knows what the danger out there, you know, licensed and insured. I mean, you check the boxes, you know, and you know, that's an important thing for the app, is that when somebody goes on and they know that. And then, by the way, we're going to put clips of this on the platform so people can see and get to know you too. But tell me a little bit about it. I'd like to give some tips now. We're going to turn this into a little tip show. So somebody's listening. Obviously, if you don't have pest control service, you're the guy, and it's great. But why don't you give a couple tips? What can people do to keep those critters out of our house, or if there's any specific thing, whether it's roaches?
Well, first thing, the you know, one roach that everybody is afraid of. My wife is paralyzed by roaches. So just make sure that your door frames are sealed. If your front door doesn't have a good weather strip, that's very important, especially in this Florida rain that we have down here, and all the palm trees and mulches. Roaches like to breed in them. Millipedes as well. So the 2 tips I would give homeowners for not only roaches, but sometimes flies: make sure that your door frames are sealed, get proper weather strips, and then make sure your drains are clean. So that's very important.
Wow.
Yeah. Make sure your drains are clean.
And how do you what would be a way to clean?
So for an example, you know, think about somebody in their restroom, in their bathroom, and they're shaving their hair, brushing their teeth. All that debris goes in and gets clogged up, right? So you can have drain flies. You can have sometimes forward flies, fruit flies. They can breed in that drain. They can lay their eggs right there. But you got to make sure you clean your drain and make sure your pipes are clean. So
like a liquid Drano type thing.
Yeah.
Or
some plumbers might not suggest that,
or just have a plumber come out and do maintenance.
I think liquid Drano does the job. You probably will not do it too often.
Right.
Your plumber probably wouldn't recommend that. But to keep your drain clean, that's very important for insects. Because I've seen roaches come up drains.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, just thinking about that, and you don't think about it. People don't. First of all, the door. I'm right when we get done with this. I'm checking my door because I wouldn't even think to check the sealant around my front door.
You know how many houses I go to where you can see so much space in their door, and it's like that small space for insects is like a doorway for us as humans.
That's true. Yeah. Wow, never thought about that. And that's just one door. All the other doors around the house that have that little opening. So basically,
what we can do, you know, you seal that, but we service and we treat inside and treat outside to make sure even if you do have those small cracks, hey, those insects and those pests are at least gonna find some mortality before they annoy you.
Yeah. So walk me through your process. Somebody hires you. What is it? What is a day in the life of a pest control guy? What do? Do you walk in? Do you assess the house first before you start?
Well, that's the first thing you have to do. You got to go through the home. check any open cracks, crevices.
And you did that at my house.
Yeah,
The
any
last,
air, well, the first thing I ask is, what is your problem? What
yeah,
issue are you having?
yeah.
So that's the most important, because in order to solve the problem, you have to identify the problem.
Hmm.
But generally, if somebody's just looking for maintenance and protection, the first thing you have to do is go in and assess the home, see what cracks, crevices, see what they have going on in their sinks, their opening in their plumbings that roaches can get through. And then you advise the homeowner what they need to do before you start your treatment.
What would they need to do? Like sealing the.
So if you have, um, generally we can do that too. We can help seal these areas underneath the plumbing. But if you go through and give them checklists, hey, you have soffits that are open.
Oh, so you. Oh,
Yeah,
nice. All right.
you have a hole underneath your sink that just needs to be sealed
Yeah.
because American roaches and brown
Sure.
banded roaches
Doesn't
are
matter
coming
what
up.
you do.
Doesn't
There's
matter.
a hole there. They're gonna
They're
find. There's a
gonna
lot of
find
roaches out
they're
here.
gonna find a way. So our job is to make sure the homeowner knows what's going on in their house as we help them protect it.
And how often is it? Once a quarter that you come out?
Well, my service is once a quarter.
Every.
And then if you have any problems in between, that's including the service. You just call or text, and then schedule to take care of what issues you're having.
Okay, so no one's ever been able to answer this because we can't figure out this problem. And if you could help me solve this, it'd be amazing. Is those little, like like grapefruit if I have out, or any kind like fruit fly, not flies, but they're like little bugs. And we have something in the kitchen that holds like limes and
And vinegar.
is that
Those are fruit flies.
the fruit
So
flies?
if you're having, well, they could be forward flies or
I
fruit
think they're
flies.
fruit flies.
Um,
Is there the only way to get rid of them is you got to keep the fruit?
you got it. Well, not only fruit and fermenting material, but your garbage, and also your sink,
Your garbage disposal.
your garbage disposal. So another tip,
Yeah.
and this is an important tip that I got to tell people I go to homes. People have garbage disposals.
Yep.
That flap, that's their garbage disposal. Clean
You're
inside.
talking about the sink, the
sink.
flap of the sink going down
the
the
sink.
yeah.
Clean underneath that sink thoroughly. The amount of
Bacteria, garbage.
not even that.
Yeah.
Debris that holds there, and you'll have flies breeding and leaving their eggs in that debris.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, that's a golden tip right there.
So while you do that, of course, after you do that, we come in and we can treat those areas to eliminate the insects, but they will breed, they will lay their eggs in
Who would have thought? Yeah. What about so how do you clean that? Is it just bleed like this?
And get a paper towel?
Yeah.
And just go underneath.
Okay.
And you make sure the garbage disposal is off.
Yeah, definitely don't want that. So what about you mentioned to me that you might be doing something with mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are something you can't get rid of, but is that, I know that's not happening yet, but is that in the works? Is that?
Yeah.
That's exciting.
We're actually getting into mosquitoes. So we're going to be doing mosquito control in and around around the house, and as well as mystic systems. So
the systems, yeah. So you fill them up, you pay it. So you'll do mosquito control, but you coming out spraying
mosquito control,
and that's more than once a quarter, right?
Yeah. And it can be coupled with your regular pest control, because mosquitoes are getting worse.
Yeah.
Two things I see down here that's getting worse: mosquitoes and termites.
Speaking of termites, it's a good segue. I mean, protecting your house. These houses, at least in Parkland, where we live, these are probably 20 years old, I imagine, like 90, 96. So yeah, maybe more, almost 30, 25. So the roof's going to start going, if they haven't already. The termites, how do you know? Like, what do you, because you can't see them.
This is what I always tell people. You don't know you have termites until they come out and say hi.
You don't want to come out and say
Yeah. And this is South Florida, so they are around. And specifically two types of termites that are really controlling the area: drywood termites and subterranean termites.
So underneath the house?
Underneath the house. And those are the ones that, subterranean termites are actually the worst.
Yeah, because you can't.
They can, not even that.
Oh, the damage-wise.
Damage-wise.
All right.
Drywood termites, the most prevalent that we see, those are the ones where if you have them, you see people tenting their homes.
Yeah.
And I would advise people, and this is, research, my advice: if you have drywood termites, I wouldn't spot treat. I would get your home tented.
Get the whole thing tented.
Yes.
Because they spread by like wildfire,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah. Just my advice.
Yeah.
I know
But how do you know? So you would know if you have them in one area just based on decay, like if something's
not necessarily. You'll know. There's three ways. You'll know if, number one, you see swarmers physically around. Two, if you see
those are termites swarming, or
there could be other insects,
Yeah.
but you just have to identify them. A lot of the time, they're termite swarming.
okay.
And then if you see wings on the windowsills or on the floor, you could just identify them, whether they're drywood termites or subterranean termites. And if they're drywood termites, you can also see what they have is fecal pellets. It looks like sawdust.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Color? What color is that? Black.
It depends on. Well, it can be brown.
Yeah.
Depends on the kind of wood they're eating. It could be like pale.
And that's going to be on the windowsill.
No, that could be anywhere.
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 Wow.
Yeah, just tented a house today. Well, tenting it tomorrow, where in their ceiling, the termites made little holes. It's like their bathroom, and they're kicking out the fecal pellets all through.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So is that something you guys check? Do you do termite?
Yeah, we do, and do fumigation. So,
so is that something you would get like not an appraisal, but like a inspection on?
If people think that they have termites, you can call to verify if they've seen evidence or believe they have termites. Yeah.
But when you go around a house,
when I service a home, I'm checking for everything.
You are.
I'm checking for everything. Yeah.
Great. What about rats? Because everybody wants to know about that, and they, there's a lot of them in South Florida, and I mean, people, you have this conception of, oh, it's a dirty house, and these things
nothing to do with it. Dade and Broward counties are in, I think, the top 15 rattiest cities in the nation. I believe so. It's top 15.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, it has nothing to do with sanitary. I mean, granted, if you have an abandoned house and garbage everywhere, you're unsanitary, you're probably going to have rats and roaches. But they're still everywhere, and they're always roaming, always looking for a place, always looking for harbor zones, and
you don't see them during the day a lot, right? Or are they?
You can.
You can.
But a lot of the time they're roaming at night. But you can see them during the day.
What about the attics? How rough is it going up in attics and seeing? I mean, I'm sure you spent some time in them.
Yeah, it can get hot.
And then you see things that, like, I mean, I couldn't imagine I'm sure you've seen snakes. You've seen everything out there. I'm sure.
I've never seen a snake in an attic.
Yeah, I guess an attic would be a hard place for a snake.
Yeah.
Unless he got out as a kid's pet. Or something.
Never seen a snake in an attic. And I hope never to see
exactly.
a snake in an attic.
What about iguanas? You don't do any iguana control. You don't touch those. Those things are nasty.
No, there's when it comes to vermin, we don't do vermin. So
do you outsource that to somebody if you have connections, or that's not really? I know pest control.
Really, yeah, I really don't get into that's more critter control.
Okay.
Yeah. So the only thing we'll do is rats, mice, and like moles.
Okay. Which are basically similar to rats.
They're rats underneath the ground.
Yeah. Awesome, man. So we'll have all your contact, obviously, information there. But I'd like to hear what the next step is. So you're in Gainesville and you're in South Florida. Do you do just Broward County? Do you go to Palm Beach?
Broward, Palm Beach, some of Miami.
Really? You go to Miami?
I mean, we'll tent anywhere. So if you have termites,
you'll go anywhere.
Yeah, Miami, Broward, and Palm Beach will tent.
Awesome. And are you going to go expand anymore? Are you plan on it, or are you going to keep it?
The plan is to grow.
Good.
So that's why I said right now we're been getting into mosquitoes and plan to grow.
Well, listen, this is an industry that everybody needs, right? It never goes away. You're going to always need pest control. So that was a smart move. Even though you're a gator, you at least you figured out back then. Back then, it wasn't like Harvard, although nobody knows that now. You say I went to Gainesville.
Oh, it's like, you partied.
Yeah, you know what I do? I say I went to Florida State. And like, really? Would you live in here? Actually, it was TCC, but I went to TCC. It's the same thing.
You guys partied up in North Florida. Now.
Yeah, now it's all. That now. Exactly. Well, my man, thank you so much. It was great having you on as a guest, and I'm looking forward to spreading the word about you guys and getting it out there.
I appreciate it being on.
Awesome. All right. Thanks so much, brother.
All right.